Purpose gives meaning to time, and time gives structure to life. When a person understands their purpose, they no longer wake up just to exist, they wake up to execute. Purpose acts like an internal compass, directing thoughts, decisions, and energy toward outcomes that matter. It removes confusion and reduces the temptation of distractions, because when you know what you're supposed to do, it's easier to say no to everything that doesn't fit. Many people are busy but not productive. They're moving, but they aren't going anywhere that counts. That's because activity is not the same as achievement. Purpose filters activity so that only the actions that align with destiny are pursued. It clarifies what should receive your yes and what deserves your no. Without purpose, life becomes a cycle of survival, working for money, chasing trends, impressing people, but never finding fulfillment. Purpose creates focus. Focus creates effectiveness. And effectiveness builds a life of impact. When you know why you're here, time is no longer something to kill, it becomes something to invest. People who live with purpose do not waste time trying to be everyone. They concentrate on becoming the one person they were born to be. That awareness sharpens their priorities, disciplines their schedule, and fuels their persistence. Even in times of delay, purpose gives you patience. Even in failure, it gives you perspective. And even in uncertainty, it gives you peace. Because when your life is anchored by purpose, you don't need to chase every opportunity. You wait for the one that aligns with your assignment. Everyone has goals. Everyone has dreams. But the difference between those who achieve them and those who don't is not intelligence, luck, or talent. It is discipline. Discipline is the invisible force that turns intentions into results. It is the daily decision to do what must be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. Without discipline, goals remain wishes and potential becomes regret. Discipline is not punishment, it is training. It teaches your body to obey your spirit. It trains your emotions to serve your vision. It instructs your time, your habits, your conversations, and your appetite to align with your assignment. Discipline is the silent architect behind every meaningful achievement, quietly laying one brick at a time, until what was once imagined becomes a reality. You cannot rely on motivation because motivation fades. Feelings change, but discipline remains. It shows up when the excitement is gone. It keeps you writing when no one is reading. Keeps you practicing when no one is watching. And keeps you sacrificing when there's no applause. It is the willingness to endure temporary discomfort for the sake of long-term fulfillment. Those who build a life of excellence are not always the most gifted, but they are the most consistent. They understand that results are not the product of occasional intensity, but of daily consistency. Discipline simplifies the journey by removing options. When you're disciplined, you don't negotiate with excuses. You don't debate with distractions. You don't entertain compromise. You do what you said you would do every day without fail. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you're meant to be. It doesn't guarantee ease, but it guarantees progress. And in the end, it is the discipline who finish the race. Not because they were the fastest, but because they never stopped moving. Charisma can get attention, but only character earns respect. Charisma may open doors, but character is what keeps them open. People are often drawn to confidence, charm, and personality, but these qualities alone cannot sustain leadership, relationships, or success. What truly defines a person is not how they appear when things are easy, but how they behave when things are easy, but how they behave when tested. That is the arena where character is revealed. Character is about who you are when no one is watching. It's the voice that speaks when decisions are made in secret. It's the honesty that refuses to bend for gain, the integrity that won't compromise for applause, and the consistency that doesn't change to fit the room. Charisma may impress people for a moment, but character influences people for a lifetime. It is not loud, but it is loud enough to be trusted. In a world that celebrates image and quick results, it's easy to mistake popularity for credibility. But history is filled with stories of talented people whose gifts took them places their character could not sustain. Without character, success becomes dangerous. The higher you rise, the more pressure you carry. And it is only strong internal values that can withstand that weight. Character builds a foundation for everything else in life. It is what keeps you rooted when opportunities multiply. It protects your name when rumors rise. It gives peace when you walk away from what is wrong, even if it costs you what is easy. And while charisma may bring a crowd, character builds a legacy. People may forget what you said or how you looked, but they will never forget how your life aligned with your words. True influence comes not from how bright you shine in the spotlight, but from how steady you stand in the shadows. When your character is whole, you don't need to perform. You live with quiet strength. You make decisions based on values, not pressure. You treat people right, not because it's convenient, but because it's right. And in the long run, that consistency builds something that no stage, no applause, and no spotlight ever could. Vision is not just a dream. It is a clear picture of a preferred future that pulls you forward with purpose. It gives direction to your energy, clarity to your decisions, and focus to your efforts. Without vision, life becomes reactive. People drift from one situation to another, constantly responding but never truly advancing. Vision changes that. It puts you in the driver's seat of your life, steering with intention rather than circumstance. Strong vision gives birth to discipline. When you can see where you're going, you're more willing to endure what you must to get there. It sharpens your priorities because everything that doesn't support the vision becomes a distraction. It gives you a standard for what you accept and what you reject, what you pursue and what you ignore. People with vision are not easily swayed because they live with a sense of assignment. They understand that not everything is worth their time or energy. Vision is not about where you are, it's about where you are becoming. It lifts your eyes beyond your present struggles and reminds you that today is only one chapter of a much larger story. When difficulties arise, vision gives you endurance. It reminds you why you started and why quitting is not an option. It becomes the internal picture that keeps you walking when there's no applause and no guarantee. Without vision, time is wasted, opportunities are missed, and potential remains buried. But with vision, life becomes a building project, and every action is a brick in the foundation of something greater. It is not enough to have goals. Vision is what gives those goals context, and meaning. It connects your daily habits to a larger future, turning ordinary moments into purposeful progress. Vision must be nurtured and protected. Not everyone will understand it, and that's okay, because it wasn't given to them, it was given to you. The more clearly you see it, the less you'll need to explain it. And though the path may not always be clear, the picture of the end result gives you the faith to keep moving forward. Vision makes the future real long before it arrives. And those who carry it live not by what is, but by what will be. Time is not just a resource, it is life itself, measured in moments. When you waste time, you are not just being unproductive, you are surrendering pieces of your life you can never retrieve. Every second that passes is a part of your story being written, whether you're intentional with it or not. Unlike money, time cannot be saved, borrowed, or earned back. It moves forward with or without your permission. And how you use it reveals what you value. People often say they don't have enough time, but the truth is, everyone is given the same 24 hours each day. The difference lies not in how much time we have, but in how we manage it. Those who understand the value of time treat it with respect. They don't allow distractions, procrastination, or meaningless activity to dominate their schedule. They prioritize what matters, knowing that every task is either moving them closer to purpose or pulling them away from it. Time is the currency of purpose. Whatever you invest your time into, you give your life to. That's why it's not enough to be busy. You must be effective. Being constantly occupied doesn't mean you're making progress. Productivity isn't about doing more, it's about doing what matters. People who master time don't fill their days with random obligations. They align their actions with a clear vision. Managing time well requires awareness and discipline. It means learning how to say no without guilt and yes with commitment. It requires setting boundaries, creating systems, and eliminating the unnecessary. It also means understanding that rest, reflection, and relationships are not time wasters. They are essential parts of a well-lived life. Time management isn't about rigid control. It's about wise stewardship. When you manage your time, you are actually managing your destiny. You are taking ownership of your days instead of letting them slip by unnoticed. People who achieve great things are not necessarily more gifted, they are more intentional with how they use the hours they are given. Every day is an opportunity to move forward, build something meaningful, and live on purpose. Time is your most valuable asset, and how you use it will ultimately determine the quality and impact of your life. Potential is the hidden ability within you. Untouched, unseen, and unrealized until you decide to act on it. It is not something you unlock in a moment of inspiration, but something you uncover through consistent, disciplined effort. Potential is like a seed, full of life and possibility, but completely dependent on daily cultivation. Without action, it remains dormant, never becoming what it was designed to be. Everyone is born with potential, but not everyone develops it. That's because potential doesn't grow in comfort or convenience. It grows in the soil of commitment and daily work. It requires showing up even when you don't feel like it. It requires practicing long after others have stopped. It demands persistence when there are no visible results, and patience when there are no immediate rewards. Effort is the tool that chisels greatness from the raw material of who you are. Many people wait for the right opportunity, the perfect moment, or the ideal conditions to act. But potential doesn't respond to perfection, it responds to movement. Every small step taken in the direction of growth sharpens your skill, strengthens your character, and prepares you for the next level. It is not about making huge leaps overnight. It's about being faithful in the small things every day. That faithfulness compounds over time into excellence. The danger of untapped potential is that it creates frustration. You know there's more inside you, but you haven't done the work to bring it out. That gap between who you are and who you could be can only be closed through intentional action. Daily effort transforms the abstract into the actual. It turns ideas into products, dreams into plans, and possibilities into proof. No one sees potential at first. It often looks ordinary, but as you continue to invest effort, results begin to emerge, confidence grows, and momentum builds. The person who commits to daily development will always outgrow the one who relies solely on talent. Potential is not about who you are now, but about who you're capable of becoming, and that journey is paved with the discipline of daily effort. So as you reflect on these 5 things, purpose, discipline, character, vision, and time, understand that they are not optional principles for success. They are non-negotiable foundations for a life of meaning. Each day offers a fresh opportunity to align yourself with your purpose, to exercise discipline in the small things, to protect and refine your character, to stay focused on your vision, and to manage your time like the precious resource it is. You don't need more talent, more followers, or more luck. You need consistency in these 5 areas. Because greatness is not built in a moment, it is built daily, in quiet decisions, unseen effort, and unwavering commitment. Work on these things every day. And you will not just chase success, you will grow into the kind of person who attracts it.